Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Julie Boyer, and I'm the founder of the 30-Day Whole Body Detox. And we're actually in the 5th edition already this year. And I'm super excited to bring you week 3 of our weekly webinar series that we've been doing with different experts that are part of the Detox webinar series and also take part in the program as well. So welcome back to the call and let's get right into it. Okay, so what is the 30-Day Whole Body Detox? Well, the program is a healthy whole food detox that will nourish your body at the cellular level. And the program actually does have a website. It's simply 30daywholebodydetox.com. So you can go right to that website and get all of the information, including pricing and all the details that you need in order to be part of this program. So I'm not sure why webcams are coming on automatically, but I'll make sure I turn them off so that you guys you're not on webcam if you don't want to be. Okay. So this is me. I'm the program founder, and like I said, this program started back in 2012. And what's really interesting is that one of the key reasons why this program was created was to help with sugar cravings. And myself, actually back in 2014, I had developed a really serious sugar addiction. I was addicted to, if you recall, that was the first of the 2 super, super cold winters. And my husband had lost his job and we were really stressed financially, and I was dealing with it with sugar. And I was eating bags full of Eggies, those chocolate covered eggs that are for Easter, but they were out from Valentine's on. And I would kid you not, I was eating almost a bag of those a day. I was so addicted. It was affecting my mood. It was affecting everything. And in that year, the detox probably saved my life because I was actually feeling myself going back into a depression because my brain was so messed up from being addicted to sugar. And what happened is I had 3 days of brutal detox that year. I was so unwell. But it took me 14 days of the 30 days to get back on track, but it worked. And that's why I love this program so much, is even though I'm the founder, I'm a human being too. And let me tell you, will not ever make that mistake again. So how do you feel right now? You might not feel like how I felt 2 years ago and you're suffering from major sugar issues, but if you do have digestive issues, so you find that you're bloated after you eat, or, you had your Thanksgiving dinner and you felt like you had that, we call it a food baby where your tummy just puffs out, and that's not comfortable or normal. Do you get sick a lot? Okay, that's actually related to your digestion. Do you have low energy? Do you have sort of those unwanted pounds that no matter what you do, nothing seems to work? How about that brain fog where you're not sure, you start forgetting things, you're wondering if it's age or not? And finally, do you feel a lack of motivation? So all of these are reasons why you might want to consider doing a detox program. Okay, so the benefits of this program include that you do end up losing weight, although it's not a weight loss program. You do end up reducing inflammation throughout your body, which is great. Your skin will change. Your mental clarity definitely improves. You do sleep a lot better. Your digestion will improve. You optimize your cellular nutrition through the products from USANA Health Sciences, and you have an amazing energy boost. So what the program is, it's a 30-day program, like I said, and what you're doing is you're cutting out things that we call liver loaders that actually make that your liver has to process first. So we want to reduce these things out of your diet so that your liver can function more optimally. And at the same time, we're supporting your liver with not only foods that are supportive to the liver, but also a nutritional supplement, which I will talk about in a moment. So there is no dairy, no wheat or gluten, and no caffeine or alcohol during 30 days, which is why we're sort of getting to the last point in the year when you could really do this. It's, once you're getting into mid to late November, it's virtually impossible to do this program because it's just so uncomfortable for your body to try and detox. We also limit red meat. We actually have a whole section in the guidebook that talks about how to choose meat that is better for you. And as for dark chocolate, we actually have some recipes in the dessert section that include some dark chocolate. So that's we're avoiding refined sugar, and but sugar from fruit, for example, is not something that you have to avoid. So what you get to include, that's the great thing. You can absolutely include your 5 to 12 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day. You can pretty much have unlimited amounts of those. However, we do suggest that you limit corn and soy depending on the person that you are. Some people are just, those aren't digested well, or some people choose not to have soy in their diet, and that's absolutely fine. Lots of healthy fats. You can absolutely eat meat if you choose to, or you can do a vegan or vegetarian program as well. And lots of self-care as well through yoga, meditation. And we do recommend a bit of a toxic cleanse, which Sarah's going to talk about in the next part about our toxic chemicals in our life. So perhaps for the 6th edition, Sarah will do a special chapter on all of these things in our detox guidebook. What do you think, Sarah? You up for that? She'll tell us when she's, I'm not even sure if I don't even know if she can unmute herself. I might have to unmute her.
Really, yes.
Hi.
I would love that. That'd be amazing.
Okay, perfect. So we're setting you up for a new chapter based on the stuff you're sharing tonight, okay?
Beautiful.
Sweet. So the guidebook is already 100 pages. We're probably going to add 2 or 3 more pages with what Sarah's going to share with us. These are all leaders in health and nutrition, from Dr. Olinka Trejo on the far left, who is a naturopath who has been involved with the program since the beginning. She has contributed to the guidebook right from day one. She has actually presented for our group every year. She only does 1 live presentation a year, and it's for our group. Sarah was there. And just some amazing, amazing people. Then let's talk about supplement support. So you get the guidebook, then you also support your body with nutritional supplements, the highest quality pharmaceutical grade products from USANA Health Sciences. So your program coach is actually a USANA associate, and that's how you get the supplements that go with the program. So you're going to use the Cell Essentials, which is the new product that actually supports, nourishes, protects, and renews your cells. There is nothing like it on the market today. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal product. I love it, love it, love it. Talk about something to help you reduce toxic load and get rid of free radicals. Then we add fish oil. So even though I eat vegan 98% of the time, I use the USANA fish oil because of the source of EPA and DHA that is unmatched anywhere else, and it's an ultra pure product. I mentioned liver support. That's the next bottle, the green bottle on the top line, and that's our HEPA Plus, a product that has milk thistle extract, among other amazing, amazing things that support the liver. The liver needs a lot of things to function optimally, and HEPA Plus covers you. And guess what? The amazing technology that's in the new Cell Essentials was already in the HEPA Plus. They just didn't tell us. So it's already in there. So if you've done the program before, you've had the benefit of this intelligence technology. So that's why our liver support product is so effective. Then we add a probiotic to make sure that your gut is staying healthy, because the more you learn about gut health, the more you understand that that's where so many things are linked, including brain health, weight loss, cravings, depression. Everything is linked to the gut. And we round it out with a bag of the My Smart Food plant protein, which is pea and potato protein with 0 grams of added sugar, 8 grams of fiber, 4-gram net carb, 18 grams of protein per serving, and 6 grams of healthy fat from coconut oil. The products on the bottom are all the optional products, which I'm not going to get into today. Just know that you can choose some options with the program if you're looking to upgrade your program. And the base program right now, I believe, is 240 Canadian plus taxes and shipping. You do get this expert support from our community. So we have an online community, and you're going to hear from many of these people over the next 3 weeks. So Sara Fennell, she's pictured right there at the bottom. We heard from Larissa Robinson, triathlete, last week, and then I believe Stephanie Morrison is next week. She's on the far right-hand side, and then on the bottom in the circle is Linda Heredia, and she will be our final speaker, I believe. So then you also get the guidebook, as I mentioned. There 80 recipes. We added 5 more this fall, including Sara, I believe, added 2 recipes. And you won't be able to do all these recipes in 30 days. So the cool thing is you have a recipe book for your whole entire year. There are 11 recipe chapters, including a soup chapter. We have detox tips for the year round. So we do our biggest detox in the spring, but we have tips for how to be successful in the summer and the fall. We do not recommend this program in the winter. And there are 25 pages of detox info and tips at the beginning of the guidebook. So very, very thorough program. What else do you get? You get bonuses. You get menu plans. There is a regular, which includes meat. There is a vegan, vegetarian, and there's also a grain-free option and a blank one. So you get lots of options there. A grocery list, tips for eating out, how to juice with a blender, your weekly prep sheet, and your pre and post detox checklist, a private Facebook group for support, and a personal program coach. This is amazing. So if this is enough information for you and you'd like to sign up for the program, you can actually sign up right on our website, and it will go directly to the person who referred you. So please do indicate who referred you to the program, or just get in touch with your local USANA person. Hopefully they're already a detox coach. If they're not, please have them use the sign up as a detox coach right on that website as well. And then they can actually get all the information they need to become a coach. So that is all from me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask Sara to start her video. And you're there. Yay! Hi. Okay, I'm going to give you control. There you go. So Sara, Fennell, and I met earlier this year. She became a detox coach, and really, I mean, you ran away with the program. I've never seen someone have so much success so quickly with the program, but it really was aligned with what you were doing as a holistic nutritionist. Really excited. Not only that, I know you're a coach for fitness competitions. You've competed yourself. So I'm just going to pass it over to you. You can tell your story as you go. And I just want to say that I'm really grateful to have you as part of the Detox team this year.
Thanks, Julie. And I'm super honored to, be a contributor for the recipes this year. And I'm definitely, willing to add a section to this book for next year. So, as Julie said, my name is Sara Fennell. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a holistic nutritionist. I competed in fitness competitions from 2009 to 2014. I've done fitness modeling. So health and fitness has been such a huge passion for me. And what led me into fitness was I was diagnosed with depression in 2008. So 2007 and 2008 were very, very rough years for me. And I had never been consistent in the gym after I got out of high school. In high school I was in sports and everything like that. And then leading into my early 20s, I didn't take care of myself, and I was just leading a very destructive life. And I ended up with depression in 2008, being diagnosed. So I started going to the gym regularly because I heard that, being active definitely helps with depression. I was put on medication. So both those things helped, but it didn't really solve the problem. And that's what actually led me into holistic health. I went back to school in 2013, really to learn about the body, how it works, and different ways that I could help myself, really. I had been coaching clients, so there was that aspect of wanting to learn holistic health for my clients, but it was really for my own personal needs. And so in 2013, 2014, I did many different detoxes, really started learning about the information I'm going to share with you here tonight. And I have been medication-free since the summer of 2014. So this information is very close to my heart because it's helped me overcome a lot. And so I'm going to give you a lot of knowledge. I definitely believe that if you understand something, it helps you make so many more better choices moving forward. We hear all these things all the time, this is bad for you, or that's bad, or that's toxic, or, you hear generic terms, but if you don't really understand the mechanism behind them, it doesn't really enforce you to make better changes moving forward. So I'm definitely an educator with this subject. So you're going to learn a lot. So today, like I said, we're talking about modern day chemicals and, environmental chemicals. And you might be shocked at, where these are found and how many you're actually exposed to, and really how this is affecting your health and your waistline. I'm a weight loss coach. I've been coaching women all over the world since 2011 for the last 5 years. So weight loss is really, my key business. But with learning about all this, I've learned if you balance the body and you create health, the weight loss is really, it's just an added bonus. Like Julie was saying with this 30-day whole body detox, weight loss happens, but it's not really the main focus. So first of all, I have to say, our bodies are absolutely amazing. If you give it all the right tools and all the right nourishment, it will take care of itself. The problem is the modern day world that we're living in is bombarded with so many things that create a negative impact on our body. What we eat, what we touch, what we're surrounded with. Our bodies have to deal with this. So when it comes to detoxification, our bodies have all these amazing detox systems already in place because we're in contact with harmful bacteria and harmful substances, and things that we touch, like I'm going to talk about. So our body has to know how to get rid of that. The problem is it's the rate at which it's coming into the body. This is just accumulating as the years progress. And I'm going to show you, how many chemicals have increased in the last 50 years that are in our society now. And the bodies just, they can't handle it. So this is the problem with these modern day chemicals. So, what is a toxin? We hear all the time, this is toxic, or that's a toxin, or that's toxic for the body. And what does that really mean? And I'm going to use this word throughout, but I really just want you to understand that anything can be toxic to the body. It's just the rate at which it is absorbed. So even like water, something that is absolutely essential for our health, can actually be toxic for your body if you drink and absorb too much at one time. So it's not about what is toxic, it's this accumulation and the absorption in the body. And the chemicals that I'm going to talk about today, they have this bioaccumulation in the body. So when we ingest or when we touch something that is toxic, it doesn't just go in and go out. There's mechanisms in place that have to convert this substance in order for it to be excreted from the body. And this is the problem. We have too many chemicals coming in and onto our body at the rate that our body needs to process it in order for excretion. So we're getting this bioaccumulation, and I'm going to explain how that happens and where they're stored when they can't be excreted. So first, let me touch on the top 6 harmful household toxins. And I just want to talk about categories of things. I don't want to get into specific names of chemicals because that's just going to confuse you. And I really don't feel like that's a benefit. If you can just understand the classifications of these things, it's going to help you make better choices moving forward. And this is in no particular order. So first off, we have our herbicides, fungicides, and pesticides. So this is all your conventional food, all your non-organic food. And I am loving that there's been more of a shift to organic food. The prices are coming down in it because, the more we ask for this and the more we buy this and the more we put our money into the things that are healthy for our body, the better price these are going to be, and they're going to become, more readily available to us. You didn't hear people talking about organic this and organic that on a daily basis at the rate that it is 10 years ago. So we're seeing this huge shift in our society, and it's because, people are sick, people are ill, and it's because of these chemicals. So there's more of a demand for the healthier options. So the thing with pesticides and herbicides and all these things that are on our foods, back in the 1940s, there were 7 known pests that were resistant to these chemicals. Now, there's over 500 species that have some level of resistance. So, this is the problem. We're putting more and more chemicals on our food, but nature will always find its way, and things are becoming more and more resistant. So then men have to create more harmful substances, and we ingest these. These have an effect on us as well. Tap water. Some people don't think that tap water is fine, and I'm talking mostly city water. This can be well water as well, depending on your area. The problem is tap water does not get filtered out of all the petrochemicals that run out of factories and in the cities that go into our groundwater. So when this water goes into our filtration systems, it doesn't take out these petrochemicals. It also doesn't filter out birth control pills. It also doesn't filter out hormone replacement, and this is all being excreted through our urine. And let's be honest, water is just always recycled. And also we have to consider the beauty care products and cleaning supplies that are going into our drains and being recirculated back out through our water. So these things are not being filtered when they're coming back through your tap water. Number 3, commercially raised meat and dairy products. So, this has a lot to do more with the United States, where they have growth hormone, in their feed, and they're injecting it into their animals. Now, we do have to be mindful that we do get a lot of things from the States as well. So, these animals and the conditions that they're living in and the chemicals and the hormones that are being put into them, we are consuming that as well. I also am an energetic person. So you have to consider, where are you getting your meat from? What is the condition these animals were living in? What is the energetic state that they are in, and that is in that meat that we're putting into our bodies? So that's another consideration with this. I touched on this a little bit with tap water. This is parabens, fragrances, and sulfates. So this is all your beauty care products, and this is your cleaning products as well. This is absolutely huge. They say the average person uses 9 personal care products per day. And for women, it's usually about 14. So even if you think about when you get up in the morning, within the first 2 hours of getting up, what do you wash yourself with? What do you wash your hair with? What do you put on your body and your skin? What do you spray on yourself? What do you use for deodorant? All of these things touch your skin, and they're absorbed instantly and go right into your bloodstream, and then into the liver for processing. So do a mental check. What is your body even exposed to within the first couple hours that you wake up to? So parabens, it's just really a fancy name, and it's a classification for preservatives. So what these chemicals do in these products is they preserve them. They also have an antibacterial, antifungal effect. So it just keeps the shelf life longer. Fragrances, so anything that has a synthetic smell. Perfume, this is huge. Any body sprays, that smell of our shampoos and conditioners, the smell of your products. In the term fragrance on a label can actually have up to 2,000 different chemical ingredients. But for labeling laws, they only actually have to say fragrance, because a lot of these companies have, trade secret fragrances, so they don't actually have to list all the chemicals that are involved. So I actually sent an email out to my newsletter, my email list today, and the title was, "Is your perfume making you fat and sick?" Because I thought it would get people's attention, and it's absolutely true. I'm in the weight loss industry, and when we think about losing weight, we really only think about, okay, what are we eating and how much are we exercising? And this component that actually disrupts hormones that we're going to get into, people don't even consider. So sometimes if you're doing everything right in the kitchen and in the gym or being active, but you're not seeing your weight loss results, I want you to think about what your body is exposed to in terms of these products. And I know for women, this is really, really huge. Sulfates. So this chemical gives things their sudsing action. So shampoos, body washes, all that stuff. Really, really common one that you can probably find on the back of your shampoo bottle right now is sodium lauryl sulfate. That's a really well-known specific kind of chemical with the sulfate classification that you're going to find in your shampoo. So I urge you, take a piece of paper out right now and write down all the products that you use. And I bet if you're a woman, you probably have about 14, different beauty care products that you use on a daily basis. And then also, when you're cleaning your house, like how the thing is, companies are good at thinking you need a product for this, you need a product for that, you need a product for this, when really if you just get a really good all-purpose natural cleaner that has no parabens and no fragrances, it will do the trick. or even for cleaning, some, warm water with vinegar and lemon, like that does an awesome job too. We're fooled from marketing and advertising that everything needs to have this special scent and it needs to do all these different things, when really we have actually probably ingredients in our fridge or cupboards right now that can do the trick, and they're not going to be harmful to your body. Next one, this is your food additives and preservatives. So this is preservatives, anything that's going to stay on the shelf life long enough, flavoring agents, stabilizers, thickening agents, anything with colors, dyes, and antioxidants to really slow down the oxidation of certain things in food. So this isn't your antioxidants that you would take, in a supplement. These are to slow down the degradation of, like what they say here, like a fat in a food. So I'm not going to get into the particulars on that, but just know, this is your processed food. This is your packaged food. This is your convenience foods. And unfortunately, with the world that we live in, companies take advantage of having these pre-cooked meals and meats and packaged foods and microwavable stuff and stuff that sits in your cupboard for weeks and months and years on end that we're supposed to eat. Like, you have to consider what is in that. Food in nature will go bad within a couple days. So, if you think about something that's in your cupboards, if a bug wouldn't eat it, do you really want to? That's kind of my philosophy on that. And lastly, here we have plastics. Specifically, this is your bisphenol A, so your BPA and your phthalates. So these are plastics that are very flexible. And this is what, BPA and phthalates give plastics that flexibility. And you think about how much food comes in plastics, water bottles, all this stuff. So even if it says BPA free, is it phthalate free? The other thing with BPA is that it lines canned products. So if you're buying canned goods, you probably want to go obviously with an organic food, because they will most likely have BPA-free lined cans as well. That's usually how they go. Styrofoam has BPA in it. Receipts that you get, those almost plasticky receipts that you get if you pump gas and you get the receipt out, that has BPA on it. And American currency, American dollar bills, they have BPA in it as well. So BPA is not just plastic, but I kind of talk about it in plastic here because we all use plastic products. So all of these different categories of chemicals and substances, they all have the same effect in the body, and this is what we're going to get into right now. So some shocking facts for you is that the average person has 60 to 80,000 chemical exposures per week, and this is from chemically based products and processed foods. Like, just think about it. Your body's exposed to 80,000 chemicals within a week period, and your body has to deal with that. And then there are 80,000 chemicals on the market today in North America. And not all of these are toxic to the body and in the same classifications as what we're talking about tonight. But I just want you to be mindful of, man is making all these chemicals that are not natural in nature and are not natural to the body. So this puts a huge stress on our body. And there's been an increase of 2,000% of chemical use in the last 50 years. So if you even look 50 years ago, where were we as a society? Were we as tired as we are? Were we as sick as we are? Are we as overweight as we are? Are we as, we're ill, these degenerative diseases that are on the rise, cancer? So I know that this has a huge part to it. And I feel so passionately about this because of the transformation I've seen in my own vitality in my body and just how I feel with limiting these as much as possible. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed and think, oh my God, like I can't do anything. I can't touch anything. Remember, it's not about one thing and it's not about everything. It's about what is your exposure on a daily and weekly basis, and where can you choose more natural products, and we'll get into that. And what I like to call sort of like non-negotiables, like what are going to be your non-negotiables in your life in terms of getting better products to use on your body. And like I said, in the last 10 years, we've come a long way with better products and better quality products too. You know, I know when I first started getting into this, I was buying things and I was like, okay, this like doesn't do what my normal product does. So sometimes it takes a little like shopping around and asking people, but companies have gotten so much better at products that work the same way that these chemically toxic ones would. So why is this all dangerous? And this is where the education part comes in. So, you know, you might have heard that some of those are bad for you, or that they're toxic, or that they're causing issues. And I really want you to understand why, so you can make better choices. And it's really from two standpoint here. First of all, these chemicals are fat soluble. And anything that is fat soluble that goes in the body, it needs to be converted into something water soluble before it can be excreted. So a really simple way of looking at this is, everybody's heard of, you know, vitamins, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard of like fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins. So for instance, like vitamin C is water soluble. It's cleared from the body within 3 to 4 hours, and you can honestly take as much of it as you want. It's not toxic to the body. Whereas you have fat soluble chemicals or fat soluble vitamins like your A, D, E, and K, they have a bioaccumulation in the body. So there's a certain amount that you can only take within a certain period of time, or else that vitamin can be toxic to the body. Just like I said, anything can be toxic. It has to do with the rate it's absorbed and the accumulation factor of it. So if something comes into the body that's fat soluble, it has to be converted into water soluble before it's excreted. And if it can't do that in that efficient manner, it'll be stored in your fat cells. So you can understand, like, fat likes fat. And it's almost like, say you cook up something really greasy in a pan. And if you go to wash that pan, can you just wash that grease off with just water? No, you can't. It actually just ends up making a big mess, and it gets more greasy, and you really don't get that grease inside of the pan, do you? So you need to add a soap that is going to break down that fat and that's going to clean it out. So this is exactly what the liver does to anything fat soluble that comes into the body. And I know in 2 weeks, Linda Heredia is going to be talking with the liver. So I'm not going to touch too much on that today, so she can explain that for you. The other issue with these chemicals is that they're hormone disrupting. They are a group of chemicals called xenoestrogens. And what this does is it increases estrogen within the body. So these chemicals come in and they are converted into something called a xenoestrogen. And what this does is, you can see from the picture on the bottom here. So on the left, we have what estrogen normally does. So on cells, all cells have receptors for different things, and receptors look different for what component is coming in. So like a receptor for vitamin C on a cell is completely different than estrogen. So vitamin C cannot bind to an estrogen cell. So in normal conditions, estrogen will come in, bind to its proper receptor, and then it will send a normal estrogen cell signal into the cell. The problem is that xenoestrogens, it looks very, very similar to estrogen, and it mimics it. So what it can do is it can bind to these receptors on the cells, and it will transmit its own signal. And it's going to be estrogen-like signals. The problem is it's going to be very unintended. It's going to be much stronger, or it's going to be a very mixed signal. And this is the issues that come into the body. So symptoms of high estrogen, and this is lengthy. So bloating, decreased sex drive, headache, mood swing, weight gain. Now, on the image here, you can see weight gain for men and women is different. So women, majority of estrogen weight gain is in the hips and the buttocks. Some of it is going to go to the midsection, and then you have the breast area as well as the back of the arms. So if you have problems losing weight in the back of your arms, or you get like that jiggly, that sort of like that chicken looking like wing back there, you might want to consider possibility of high estrogen within your body. Hair loss, swelling tender breasts, irregular periods, cold hands and feet, fatigue, decreased memory, foggy brain, sleeping issues, infertility in men. So it's actually going to decrease sperm because, men and women both have estrogen, just like men and women both have testosterone, but it's in completely different concentrations. So in a male, when you increase the estrogen, you throw off that delicate balance that the hormones need for that particular sex. and increased PMS symptoms. So do a mental check. Are you experiencing any of these? Because this could be a really big telltale sign that you're having symptoms of high estrogen. And in severe cases, it's actually called estrogen dominance, and this is a medical term that is recognized. Not only does it affect the hormone estrogen, but these chemicals actually have disruption on our adrenal and our thyroid glands. And I don't know about you, but have you guys noticed how many people in our society are having thyroid issues? I feel, and maybe it's because I just work with clients, so I take a lot of medical history, but I feel like 1 out of 3 or 5 people that I talk to is on a thyroid medication or has a slow thyroid or decreased thyroid function or something like that. So your adrenals are glands that sit on top of your kidneys. And this is what helps your body deal with stress. This is cortisol. This is your stress hormone. So these are very, very delicate. We want to make sure we don't harm them. The thyroid is right in your throat here, and this is really for metabolism function. So when these xenoestrogens disrupt these glands, we can have reproductive and developmental effects, neurological and cognitive imbalances. So this is ADHD, depression, anxiety, immune issues, cancer, metabolic issues, obviously like with the thyroid and the metabolism. And this is interesting, effects on stress and sugar metabolism. So what happens is xenoestrogens actually disrupt beta cells, and your beta cells are responsible for the regulation and the production of insulin. Insulin is another hormone in our body, which regulates the glucose going in and out of our blood. So if we are having improper glucose metabolism, this is when we can have appetite changes and sugar cravings and actually increase fat deposits on the body as well. So I hope you guys are starting to see the whole host of effects from these chemicals and what they're having on all of the hormones within our body. And these super duper sensitive glands that are sensitive in general, like our adrenal glands are very sensitive to stress. And like, I don't know about you, but I mean, everybody seems to lead such a stressful life. We're busy. We have enough that is combating our body on a daily basis. And then we have all these chemicals added on top of it. So let's talk about, I'm going to talk about the digestive tract and how these are broken down a little bit. Now, next week, Stephanie Morrison is going to be talking about our amazing digestive system. And I'm super passionate about the digestive system as well. But I do want you to understand when you take these substances into your body, how the body processes it. So I'm not sure Steph's going to be talking about these chemicals in particular. So this is why I want to touch on this tonight. So let's talk about, so when these chemicals come into contact with you, you're either going to inhale them, so you're going to breathe them in, whether it's a fragrance or it's in the air. They're going to be on your skin, so they're going to be absorbed through your skin and right to the liver, or they're going to go through the digestive tract. So after the digestive tract, things go to the liver, but I want you to understand that a lot of us are eating these food additives, preservatives, pesticides, herbicides, all this stuff coming in on our food. So what we eat on a daily basis is a huge portal for these chemicals. So when you eat a food that has, let's say, a pesticide on it, it's that fat-soluble chemical in the food. So it's going to go into your stomach, and once it leaves your stomach and it's in the small intestine, your gallbladder is going to shoot out bile, and it's going to break this fat substance into just smaller fat globules. And that's what bile does. It breaks down fat. So when I'm working with clients, one of the very first questions I ask them are, do you have a gallbladder? Because I know a lot of people have had their gallbladder removed. So if you don't have a gallbladder, you actually impair your detoxification system right from the minute things enter your stomach. So this is really, really huge to know. Now, the liver is what actually produces bile, which is stored in the gallbladder. But if you have your gallbladder removed, you don't have this reservoir of bile that's just sitting there ready to be signaled that, oh, there's fat here. Let's squeeze the gallbladder, squirt all that bile onto that fat-soluble substance and break it down. The liver will just trickle out bile, and it's at such a slower pace. So I know a lot of people who have their gallbladder removed, they do not feel well after they eat a really fatty meal. And it's just because their body can't break it down. So if you don't have a gallbladder, I would highly suggest you have a digestive enzyme that has some sort of like an ox bile in it. And I know this is hard for people who are vegan or vegetarian, but you can actually take bile as a substance, and I highly recommend it just for your process of digestion and for your detoxification of these chemicals as well. So we have our fat-soluble substance that's broken down into smaller pieces. Still in the small intestine, I want you to see on the left here, can you see all these like peaks and valleys and all of this surface area that is in our small intestine? And on top of this surface area, you have these finger-like projections, which are called microvilli. And this is where everything is absorbed. So any food that you take in, nutrients, this is the microvilli, pulls it through your intestinal wall, and it's either gonna meet up with your blood in order to be shuttled out to other cells or wherever it needs, or it's gonna go to your lymphatic system, which is where these chemicals go. So bile breaks down these chemicals. The microvilli will pull it. So if you can see here in the middle diagram, it's going to be pulled through. The yellow line is your lymph vessel. So the fat-soluble chemical is going to go into your lymph system, and then the lymphatic system is going to process it before it goes to the liver. So our lymphatic system is absolutely amazing. It bathes every cell, it provides nutrients and oxygen, and it takes away any waste products. So we want to make sure our lymphatic system is working up to par, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And I think it's obvious to know that the health of our microvilli are super important as well. So unfortunately, our microvilli are very, very sensitive. So you have these finger-like projections that are there to absorb everything. So our nutrients, anything that's harmful, toxic. And if these are not healthy, we end up with a really sick, toxic digestive system. So unfortunately, our microvilli are very sensitive to stress, coffee, and acidity. And what these three things do is actually create a reactive mucus within our intestinal tract, and it causes these microvilli to stick to the intestinal wall, and it will not have any absorptive properties. So this is where people are, massively undernourished because our body's not absorbing the nutrients that it needs. And then we actually end up with a really toxic digestive system because it's not filtering in any of those toxic substances as well. So I really, really want you to understand that. I actually got off coffee 2 years ago, and it was like the best thing that I could do. And every now and then I just have a coffee here and there as a treat. And then, really make sure you're managing your stress for various reasons. And I know that you guys know why managing stress is so important. And as I said, our lymphatic health is important too. The problem with our lymphatic system is that it very much looks like our arterial system, which you can see here. It goes to every cell, but our cardiovascular system is powered by our heart. So every time our heart pumps, it pumps up blood through the body. So pump, 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 and it gets that fluid moving. With our lymphatic system, it's completely dependent on our own movement. So if you don't lead an active lifestyle, your lymph becomes very stagnant and congested. So this is why, leading an active lifestyle, doing yoga, getting your cardio in, something that's going to move your body every day is so important to your general health and your detoxification systems. Symptoms of lymph congestion are increased belly fat, rashes, allergies, headaches, fatigue, constipation, or loose stools. It affects the digestive system, and everybody is affected differently. Soreness or stiffness in the morning. So if you wake up and you feel like super achy and your joints are stiff and it just takes you a while to really get moving, it's because you have this toxic fluid that's just sitting in your body and it's not being moved properly to the lymph nodes and then to the liver to process this toxicity. And same with brain fog. It's just because you have these stagnant fluids in the body. So we want to make sure our microvilli are super healthy and our lymphatic system is super healthy, or else these toxic chemicals are just not being processed properly. So this is the problem. This is where we have impaired detoxification. If our lymphatic system is congested, if our microvilli are not absorbing, our liver ends up being way, way, way too overworked. So even if microvilli and lymphatic system are not in place, the bile will be reabsorbed with fiber directly to the liver. The problem is it hasn't gone through our lymphatic system for sort of that first phase of detoxification. So it goes to the liver. There's another problem. So lacking in fiber. So most people just have this toxic waste sitting there. So our liver is absolutely amazing. I'm not going to get into it too much because Linda's going to talk about that, but it really has this two-phase detoxification system that has to process these fat-soluble chemicals into water-soluble, and then it can be excreted from the body. So I hope you can kind of see that it's really this domino effect with these chemicals that are coming into our body and how they have to be processed out. It's not a simple in and out action. And when we are not having proper detoxification, it's very much like, I don't know if this might date me, but maybe there's people can understand. Have you ever seen the I Love Lucy episode where they're put in the chocolate or candy factory and they have to wrap up the candies as they're coming down the conveyor belt? And it's all good. They're coming down at a really nice speed. You can wrap up the candy, and then the conveyor belt starts speeding up. And more keep coming through, and they can't wrap things up. So they're putting them in their mouth, they're shoving them in their shirt, and they're just trying to put the candies anywhere they can. Because at the start of the video, the boss there says, if one piece of candy ends up on the other side of this line, you're fired. So if we have 80,000 chemical exposures per week coming into our body that our liver has to process, do you think it can process it efficiently? Mind you, the liver actually has 500 functions that it has to do on a daily basis, not just detox these toxic chemicals. So where do these chemicals go if the liver can't detox them? They actually go into your fat cells. Fat is a very neutral area to the body, and it acts as a buffer. So something that the liver can't process, but that is harmful to be sort of out there floating in our bloodstream or whatever, it's going to store in fat cells, adipose tissue, so that it can process it at a later date. But, with the way that our society is going, we're having more and more chemical exposures and our body's not keeping up to it. So I really think that these chemicals are part of the problem with our weight gain epidemic in our society. So this is the collaborative issues that are going on. We have high estrogen issues, which are causing that whole laundry list of side effects that I said. We have compromised adrenal and thyroid issues, which are making us not feel well. We have increased weight gain. And then it's also actually causing fat loss resistance, because if the body is putting something into fat cells in order to neutralize it and buffer it and put it out of action, do you think the body is going to want to just release that into the bloodstream? So this is an issue when people go to lose weight and they can't, and they feel like they're doing all the right things. Well, your body could just be, resistant, and it could be holding these toxic chemicals that it doesn't want to release into the bloodstream. So what can you do? And, this is a big question, right? And it's not about eliminating everything. No one is perfect. I like dyeing my hair blonde. That's not good for me, chemically wise. I like having my nails done every now and then. There are certain products, like makeup products, that I just haven't found that are going to be, that work efficiently, like the traditional things. So to choose your non-negotiables. Like, what are you going to choose to eliminate from your life to choose more healthier, better products for your body? For myself, what I wash my skin with, my deodorant, my facial wash, my moisturizers, my hair stuff, that's all non-negotiable. What I wash my clothes in, that's non-negotiable. My dishwashing detergent, non-negotiable. I buy organic as much as I possibly can, or at least, stick to the dirty dozen and clean 15 rule. If you don't know what that is, you can look that up. So you just really figure out, what's non-negotiable for you, and you will notice a huge difference if you take that burden off the body. Oh, also fragrances, non-negotiable for me. And I've taken fragrances out of my life 2-3 years ago. I can't even stand the smell of it. Honestly, it turns my stomach and gives me a headache instantly. So you'll start to notice how your body actually reacts to these things. I even notice with my skin, like sometimes if I'm at my mom's and I'm using like her body wash or something like that, my skin gets itchy when I use it. So, if you're using a product for years and years, you're not noticing the effects until you actually, take it out. And just really mindful living, like be mindful of what you are surrounded with. If I go into a department store, I absolutely avoid the fragrance section. Like it makes me feel so ill. The people around you, just be mindful of the environments that you're in and what you're exposed to. And then I highly recommend detoxing your body twice a year. Like Julie said at the very beginning here, spring and fall are amazing ways to just ease that burden on your body, because we get busy, we get caught up in life, no one's perfect all the time. So take a time out for 30 days to give your body that break. And what this is going to do is it's going to limit your toxic food intake, because the 30-day whole body detox has, no processed foods. It's all a whole food-based diet. Recommend, mainly organic. It takes out a lot of meats for the month as well. It's going to ease your digestion. So there's a huge digestive relief with this program, especially with the supplements you take as well. And it upregulates your liver with the supplementation, and gives a much less burden on the liver as well. So that's everything. I hope that summed up and gave you a lot of information. I know that was a lot to take in, but I'm really all about educating. And I want people to understand, why is something bad or why is something toxic to the body, so that, you can understand from that domino effect from when it goes into your body, all the systems that need to be in place and need to be working optimally for that to be detoxed out. And understand that our bodies only work at a certain rate. It can't go up and it can't go down. So, what's that influx coming into your body, and just be super duper mindful. And I promise you, if you take out half the stuff that you're probably using in terms of beauty care and cleaning supplies and the chemicals that are in your food, change to filtered water, you're going to feel so much better. So thank you.
Yay! Oh my gosh, Sarah, that was incredible. Wow. Yeah. I just feel like it was so much good information, and I will absolutely post the recording for everybody to watch and learn from. And if you guys have questions after you watch this recording, please post on the 30-day whole body detox page, and Sarah can answer them for you there. Are there any questions before we end this meeting? Does anyone have any questions to ask? It always takes a moment, so I'll just wait a sec. I will say that I'm kind of like you. So pretty much I got a mascara that I like that's it's called 100% Pure, and it's like it smells like blackberries. My deodorant, I use the Piper Y.
Yeah.
Have you tried that one?
No.
It was on Dragon's Den. And yeah, I use only all the Usana, Sanse, and shower stuff as well. And same with our, stuff to do our laundry with. So does any of this information have a watered down much to the much older client? Terry asks.
I'm not sure what that means. Oh, like
made simpler maybe?
Okay. I mean, when you're just talking with someone, I definitely wouldn't go into this, but just emphasize that it puts a stress on the liver, and that the liver can only process so many things at once.
Yeah.
And if it's overwhelmed, then it's going to be stored somewhere else in the body.
Show them that video. For the I Love Lucy video?
Yeah, exactly.
If they're older, show them the I Love Lucy.
You know the episode I'm talking about, right?
Oh, I know, because Alinka has showed it at some of her events before, so I totally get it. So All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for who watched live. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
That was amazing. And Stephanie, we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.